2022 transfer of power fuels judiciary wars. There's also another one on Supreme Court judge and gun puzzle. We've seen a lot of the Supreme War, like the newspaper is calling it, and the impending change of guard in the presidency and the end of the CJ David Maraga's tenure in 2021 has started a vicious battle to reconstitute the entire Supreme Court. The allegations, the judges who are facing allegations right now, ranging from corruption, and now there's Ibrahim being accused of using a gun, which he says he doesn't even have. What do you read into all this, when the people who are dispensing justice are the ones being attacked by the people themselves now?
I think going forward, there are two institutions that we need to haste change. That is the Supreme Court and IEBC. We would like these guys to bring the referendum the way they actually are talking. And you can actually feel that the mood is universal, that we already have seen our enemy and who we are. So we actually would want to answer them. But then the Supreme Court literally is riddled with a lot of challenges. You do not need to have a gun to threaten to shoot somebody. Yeah, the guy just said he threatened to shoot me. So you do not need to have it to threaten to shoot. That in itself is dangerous enough.
It's the God's word against his.
So it's there's a lot. It's a threat.
But it's his word against the judge.
If I told you, Trevor, I'm going to throw this cup at you, it's already offensive enough, whether I have got the capability of doing it or not. The Supreme Court is really out of order. There are a lot of infighting. We've seen them see a whole judge refusing to show up before JSC. So we have got the JSC and the other side, people with a lot of ego, and those are the people who are supposed to be dispensing justice. Guys showing up in the morning after a rave and probably pulling a gun or threatening to actually pull one. So we need to work on our Supreme Court, we need to work on IBC as fast as possible. Unfortunately, since the handshake, no one talks about this. Probably 1 or 2 judges are the only sober guys remaining at the Supreme Court, and that really worries.
When I think about the judiciary in general, for me, I think about, again, coming back to the common mananchi, and literally from the lowest level there, when someone is just trying to get justice, you can try to imagine what they go through. Just for example, you know, you have a lot of inheritance cases and all that stuff, civil cases that sometimes go all the way to the high court level. Now, you don't have representation, you don't have an advocate. I've seen enough people in courts trying to really represent themselves, from the filing of, you know, from the beginning all the way till just representing yourself in a court of law. How difficult it is for them to get justice. And then the allegations that there are Supreme Court judges who've received hundreds of millions of shillings, millions of dollars, to be able to favor one particular side. What message are you telling anyone today who seeks redress against, yes, maybe Anto? What are you telling poor litigants? What message are you sending to them? Because it clearly shows, and it's interesting. I was watching an interesting movie yesterday called Woman in Gold, and it's an interesting law that they have in Austria on restitution of artifacts. And the fact that you have to have a lot of money to be able to get through the court system. The same thing in Kenya. And this is a clear indication, once again, that the judiciary is for the rich. If you're poor and imagine hungry,
the law doesn't work for you.
The law doesn't work for you. Because even, for example, if you have a smart lawyer who would go to Turkana and tell the people from Turkana to sue the government.
And I will represent you.
And represent you because of the situation you're in. Where do they start? Where do they go? And that's my biggest issue. That all these things, and again, as Kenyans, we're not angry enough until you're in a court of law. Then it takes you 19 years to solve an inheritance case.
I mean, first let me revert to Justice Ibrahim. You said, you mentioned the way it's, you know,
it's his word against him, right?
Guns, yes. But you see, he clearly states that no gun was involved. He does not say he did not threaten. So, again, a threat is a threat. Whether a gun was involved or he just mentioned, you know, whatever he did, a threat is a threat. That is not lingo that should be used by him. When you're actually taking someone to court because of a threat.
This is impunity. The fact that you can threaten anyone, the word is impunity.
Exactly.
The fact that you can wake up today and I'm here at Citizen and I decide I have to park inside or I'll shoot the guy at the gate. Why? Because what pains me the most about this country, and the problem with being on shows like this, is you end up looking like you're an angry person.
Exactly. What's
Like you,
who wronged
can
you?
this guy seek help afterwards? We need to be angry like Anto this morning, because by the time this guy is doing that, he knows it's gonna be in the paper. He knows after 3, 4, 7
he
days.
knew he will not be in the papers.
He knew, and even if it's there, people are going to move on anyway.
Because he has got power, he knew too well he will have his way. And I think that's part of the subject we're discussing today.
Privilege.
The privilege of celebrities and guys in power. But there's a bigger problem with licensed gun holders in this country.
True.
As we speak, we already have got, there's already, in news, we have got a lawyer who shot his son in unclear circumstances.
He says accidentally, autopsy shows there might have been an altercation.
And yesterday there was a club where everyone was arrested because an oral argument, and someone decided to brandish his gun.
And even on the son, it indicates he might have been outside of the car, not just in the
former DCJ. You remember Nancy Baraza?
Yes.
Lost her job.
It was the same issue.
Because of a similar, this is just a way power and privilege gets into the heads.
Impunity.
Power corrupts.
Absolutely.
If you don't check it.
I think power, I think people corrupt powerful people.
And also on the judiciary, it's also about the duration that a case takes. And I'd like to, I don't know, you've been around police stations where actually people try to negotiate. You know you should be using a system that gives you justice. So that's the court. So there shouldn't be an argument of, do you know how long cases in court take? Don't go to court. Let's just settle this here. I mean, even the perpetrator knows that there is a language they can use to you so that you don't get to court. Because you know what, this is going to waste your time, you're going to use a lot of money, so let's settle it here. So how many kangaroo courts do we actually have out there simply because the judicial system has failed?
But still, even if you ended up in court, why hire a lawyer when you can buy the judge? It's that easy.